And that brings us on to our next speaker. Our next speaker is all the way from South Africa. And I say all the way because every country is all the way. But Richard Cullinan is just, again, I'm going to say it about everybody, but a divine soul. And when we met, it was just kind of the messages that he was sharing from his heart, and we'd only just met. And he supports the British School of Etiquette and my good friend Philip Sykes, and he talks a lot about emotional intelligence. But I do have to say, there's a lot of intelligence in his heart, not just in his head. And that's what I loved about Richard. So Richard, thank you very much for being part of HIT Talks and being part of this mammoth live stream. I now give you your 8 minutes, my friends.
Good evening, and thank you very much, Vikki, for having me on this incredible HIT Talk show that you've set up for all these amazing speakers from around the world. I'm coming to you from Johannesburg, South Africa. It's a beautiful evening here, big thunderstorm actually happening, which is fantastic. And I'm just so glad to be part of delivering a message of hope, inspiration, and transformation around the world. Tonight, I'm going to talk about 2 marshmallows and a secret garden. And to kick off with the story about the 2 marshmallows, in the 1970s, Stanford psychologist Walter Mischel developed an interesting study about delayed gratification using small children as his subjects. What he did is he put small children into a room devoid of any distractions and offered them a choice. He put 2 marshmallows down on the table and said to the child, if I depart the room for some time, when I return, you can have both marshmallows. However, if you would like to have 1 marshmallow right now, you're welcome to have it. And what happened is, and it was a very interesting study, is that the children that didn't take the 1 marshmallow landed up distracting themselves by tapping their feet, putting their heads on their hands, singing along, making a song up, waiting for the experimenter to return. And this also threw up some very interesting results later on in life of these subjects, because they were followed into adolescence and into adulthood. The children that delayed their gratification and chose to wait for the 2 marshmallows actually had better SAT scores, they had better body mass index, and they achieved far better in the educational area. And also, as they became adults, the children that delayed their gratification were more socially adept. They were able to set goals and achieve them. They were not frustrated as easily by setbacks that faced them in their lives. They were far better equipped to deal with life's difficulties as they got older. Unfortunately, the children that grabbed that marshmallow impulsively did not fare so well, certainly in educational attainment. Also, they tended to get irritable easier. They sought out arguments and fights with their peers, got jealous when they thought they were not getting enough, and landed up having very difficult adult lives on a social and business level. Now, what lesson do we learn from this particular research that was done by Walter Mischel? Well, my wife and I have a saying in our home: when we are making an important decision, we always say, think about the 2 marshmallows. Because when you delay gratification, when you're making a decision, and you allow, as Leo Tolstoy spoke about in War and Peace, time and patience to happen before you make that decision, chances are you're going to make a much better decision. Also, by delaying gratification, you enjoy the journey along the path to making that decision or achieving that goal. The second thing I'd like to talk about this evening is worry and anxiety. And I can imagine that many of us around the world, particularly during this difficult time of the pandemic, are experiencing a lot of worry and anxiety. The key to arresting worry is to catch it at its inception. When you see the sight, hear the sound, or smell the smell that initiates that worrying inside you, the key is to catch it right there and to challenge it and say, is this real or imagined? And then offer yourself a plausible alternative viewpoint, which is possibly fact-based and also more objective. You see, the problem with chronic worriers is they think they are solving the problem, but in fact they're not. They put themselves into a mental and psychological state which doesn't allow them to think critically and creatively and come up with solutions to the problem that they initially saw and initiated their worry. So the key is to catch the worry at its inception, offer a plausible alternative viewpoint. Now, sometimes we're not able to do that, and anxiety tends to get the best of us. A lot of us have increased anxiety, especially at this time, and can feel overwhelmed by the problems that we have faced in our lives, whether they be financial or family orientated or socially orientated. Now, what I do is when I feel overwhelmed by anxiety, I go to my secret garden. Your secret garden could be taking a walk in the forest. It could be lying on an imaginary cloud. My particular secret garden is a memory that I have of an extraordinary day that I spent on a beautiful golden beach in Cape Town one summer's day. It was just the most exquisite day. The nature reserve behind me, I could hear all the sounds of the beetles and crickets. And I was completely alone on this beach, and the water was a glistening, lovely color. And I remember diving into that water and emerging, and the sun bouncing off my face and off my body. And I felt so fresh and alive, and one with nature and one with myself. And when I take myself to the secret garden, the anxiety simply falls off me. And I'm able to face my issues and my problems in life in a far better way. So that is my story this evening about the 2 marshmallows and the secret garden. Find your secret garden. It'll be a place in your memory. It could be a place that you went on holiday and you had an extraordinary, relaxed, fulfilling and refreshing time. The 2 marshmallows. Remember, the next time you make a decision, don't make a quick decision and enjoy the dopamine rush that you get from it. Think hard and allow your heart and your mind, or your feelings and your rational mind, to work in tandem. What I very often do when I make a decision is I draw a line down the middle of a page, and on the left-hand side, I write down everything that I'm feeling about that decision. On the right-hand side, I write down the facts and everything that I'm thinking about the decision. And then I leave it alone for a while. I sleep on it. It could be a day or 2 days or 3 days before I come back to making a decision. When I do make a decision, I've taken into account my emotional as well as rational process and ideas. And that allows me to make the best decision in my life. I'm not sure if I've come near the end of my 8 minutes, but I just want to encourage all of you at this time not to be overwhelmed by the decisions that you have to make. Allow yourself time to make those decisions by applying the 2 marshmallow rule, and find a place in your memory where you can hunker down and feel safe away from the anxiety and stress that you're feeling in these situations.
You caught me then, you caught me. Thank you so much, Richard. Marshmallows. I've never heard the story of marshmallows before, but I love it. And you are spot on. Currently in the world now at the moment, worry and anxiety we can choose. And one thing that, in the right vibrational fields is what us angels and us people that just want to have hope, inspiration, and transformation in the world say, is that if you are actually in a high vibration and you just want to lift yourself up in a high vibration, you can't have anxiety and fear, and you can't have love and magic at the same time. So I really love that analogy about going to a secret garden. And I could automatically, what about you viewers, automatically feel the secret garden that you're already in. My secret garden may be by the beach with a little bit of sun shining.